Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Everybody together. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanandharashalakaya Chakshuvannmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome all of you, devotees. So, we are actually in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which is actually the very heart of the course. Our course is called as Be a Perfect Yogi course. So, how to be a perfect yogi, that is actually explained in this chapter, in this third chapter. Because generally people think yogi means, he has to do pranayam, he has to do yogasanas, like people go to yoga studios. That's what people generally know. Krishna in this chapter talks about a particular type of yogi called as a karma yogi. And what is the speciality of this yogi? He lives in this world like a lotus in the midst of muddy pool of water. He acts, but he doesn't get entangled. One can act, one can be a man working in an office, one can be a woman working in an office, or a woman who's a homemaker. One can be a child, one can be a young college-going student. One can be in army, even like Arjuna is in army, fighting a battle. Anyone in any walk of life can implement the principles taught in this chapter. Therefore, this chapter is very important. I could not come last week. I'm sorry. I was in a youth camp last time. There was the range was also a problem for me. It was in a remote place called Dham, Sridham Mayapur. So I had arranged Arjunanand Prabhu to take a lead last week. So I couldn't come 1 week. The week before that, when I spoke to all of you, in essence, what I spoke was this, that how to act. We began this. I'll just share the video with you. If you learn this well, our lives should be so sublime and happy. This is the title, if you see, be detached yet dutiful for setting an example. This was the topic. These three very important themes are covered here. Perform duties to set correct example for others, and then how to deal with those people who are ignorant, who are acting in this world with attachment, and how to avoid falling victim to attractions and aversions. So this is the overall theme. Here, in this first verse, actually Lord Krishna explains about who is above work. That means one who has become a fully self-realized person. He is above all work, but still he works. And why he works, that we will come to that today. Now, many people may ask you, why should one stop working? Why not work? But most people in this world, they work and they get entangled. And what is the meaning of entanglement? I will tell you in a very simple term. While doing the work, those people who become attached, they become angry also with other people. Those who are attached to the fruits of the work, they become extremely angry at others. They lose their temper. They spoil their mental health. And they ruin their relationships, which leads to cleavage in relationship or breakage in relationships also. And many people get diseases in the body because of that. This is one problem. Another problem, when Lord Krishna uses the word kamepsuna, 18.24, Bhagavad Gita, you will find this word. Kamepsuna means one who is very attached to the fruits. So those are people who become angry and all that I told you. Another word he uses is ahankarena, he says. They perform their duty with pride that I did it. Nobody else can do it. I was the first one to do it. I am indispensable. Other fellows are useless. He cannot beat me. And I have done this for the last 2 decades or 3 decades. So this kind of thought is called as ahankarena. So this is pride. First one is fruity mentality, I told you, which leads to anger and attachment. And now I am telling you about pride, the false pride, ahankar. This is another big problem. He says ahankarena, kamepsuna. This kind of words Krishna is using in that chapter 18.24. You will read that. So when you become afflicted by pride or bahulayasam, that's another word he uses in 18.24. Bahulayasam means hard work. A person works 16 hours a day. Why? Because he's eager to prove that I can do it all alone. I don't need anybody's help. And if others come and join hands with me, they will also share the credit, which I don't want. I want all the credit for myself. I will do all the work and my team members should just clap hands, that's all. Just appreciate me. This kind of thought process is called as bahulayasa. Enormous hard work these people do. They find themselves insecure in sharing credit with the members of the team. So bahulayasam, ahankarena, and kamepsuna. These are all, so kamepsuna is actually fruity mentality, false pride, enormous hard work. These are the results of an attached worker in this world. Take a businessman, who is running a marble business. Take an industrialist who is having a big factory of his own. Take an IT worker working in an IT company, leading a team, or is a project manager or a unit head. Take even a homemaker lady who is at home. Even when she's at home, how she deals with the children and the husband and the elders and all the members of the house will depend on whether she suffers from these 3 attitudes. So we can see that I don't want to entangle with the world and its result, but people are on me too. Actually, yes, one of the purposes of studying Gita is to learn the art of working and not get entangled. That is actually the goal for which we are learning. So what is the meaning of this? That means we have to cultivate a certain type of consciousness while living in the world. All of you are blessed souls in one sense. Why? Because you know you are not the body. You are actually a resident of the body. You are residing in this body. You are like a driver sitting inside a car or a parrot kept in a cage. You are different from the body. And you also know that the body grows from childhood to youth and old age, and then eventually it perishes. But the soul doesn't perish. Soul is eternal, everlasting, imperishable. Soul never gets old. And you are that. You know that. This is the very first fundamental understanding. And you also know, we have studied in the third chapter, in the 9th and 11th verses in the previous sessions. Yeah, there's a hand up. Zoom user, who is that? You can please ask your question, yeah?
Hey, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this is Yash. I somehow forgot to change my name in the thing. Okay, so
is it Abhinav or who is that? Is it Abhinav? Yes. Okay, yes. Yeah. Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So when you say the soul never dies, right? It just moves from one body to other. That I understand very clearly. Okay, but what happens when? Okay, so when this rishis and most sadhus, right, who led a very pious life, right, and they attend moksha, right, at the end of the life, right, when the body, when they pass away, or anyone who passed away, they're attending moksha, right? So they're never going to come back to the cycle of birth and death again. So what happens?
Correct, you're right. What happens to them? You see, right now we are in negative axis in the material world. Correct. Then there is a stage 00, which is stage of peace, which the Buddhists, Jains, impersonalists, they all aspire for. And beyond the 00, there is a positive axis. In the positive axis, there is a spiritual world where Lord Krishna resides, Lord Vishnu resides, Lord Rama resides. That means Lord resides in different various forms, in which a devotee can meet his favorite Lord, and then with that Lord, he eternally lives there, associating with Lord in one of the rasas we call. Rasa means what? One can be friend of the Lord, going with Lord Krishna for herding the cows in the forest and playing games with him. Or one can be a parent of the Lord like Yashoda and Nanda, and one can exchange loving affection with him as a Vatsalya Bhava. Or one can be a lover of the Lord like the gopis or dancing with Krishna. So when you study about, in the Krishna book, there's a book called Krishna book. Yash can get that book. You can start reading. Our Jai Krishna can give you a soft copy also if you want. And these books are available nowadays in Kindle also, and PDF also is available nowadays. So you can get that. Even I can put it in the link also. I have BBT PDF books. Just a minute. PDF. I saw that. I'm not able to locate it. I had copied and kept it. So, Jai Krishna, you can get the this Krishna book for him.
Yes, Prabhuji. We have a shared folder. I'll add it, Prabhuji.
I can add that. So, you can read the Krishna book. You get an idea of how the spiritual world is a colorful place with various living entities, all pure-hearted souls, non-envious, friendly with one another, keeping Lord in the center, serving Him. That's an eternal world. And that world is filled with joy. There's no old age, disease, and death. So the devotees are destined to go to that world. Krishna says that. Taktva deham punajanmana iti mameti sordana. You'll come back to me, Krishna says. And those who are not devotees, those who are jnanis or yogis, those people aim at peace. They go to the 00 platform, nirvana, or impersonal Brahman, where they want to go and reside. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. They want peace. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes. So technically that soul will still move on to the next body then.
Yeah. And in case we are not ready to go to that spiritual plane, then we go to the next body in case we possess material desires in our mind. So we need one more material body to fulfill the material desires. I'll tell you one example. I saw one man who was 78 years old in South India, and this man was watching cricket, and as soon as somebody put a sixer, he jumped up. Wow, he was like thrilled. He was jumping and clapping hands, which goes to show that although his body has become old, his desires are still very strong. Then he will get one more body of a boy to play cricket. You understand, no?
Yes.
Yeah. So depending on what all desires we have in our mind lingering, for fulfilling those desires, you need a bodily instrument like servo motors, which will be provided to the soul by the super soul. Lord will provide that. And then once our mind becomes filled with thoughts of the Lord and the thoughts of serving the Lord, and we become pure-hearted, then we are eligible to return back to spiritual world. That is mentioned. You can read the two verses 8.4 and 8.5 Bhagavad Gita. There you will get information about this. All right?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm reading it at least one or two sloks a day, but it's good to at least get the proper commentary from you. So to get some clarity, right?
So 8.4, 8.5, you will enjoy reading it. Huh? Yeah. And also you can read 13th chapter also of Bhagavad Gita. That will also be very interesting. There is a verse, I can just tell you the exact verse number, just a minute. That also makes it very clear about this. I'll just tell you the verse which I am referring to.
Yep, thank you. Yeah. I want the Akshar Brahma Yoga chapter, so chapter 8 for now.
Oh, yeah. Correct. 8.4, 8.5, you can read that, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You can also refer to this verse which I'm telling you, which is 15.10. Actually, all of you can read the 15th chapter this month because this is called Purushottam month. It's a very auspicious month. And the 15th chapter of Gita is called as Purushottam Yoga. So it's a very beautiful chapter. I would suggest you all that you can yourself read at your leisure. Although you may be in the early stages of the Bhagavad Gita, this chapter you can understand. 15th chapter. So 15.10 is also 10 and 11 are very good verses for Yash. Regarding the question, this question will be answered there also. Yeah. So, so all of you understand the theme that I am talking about. In this whole third chapter, you are going to become a perfect yogi. How? When you understand this, that when I am working in this world, bahulayasam, I am doing hard work, kamepsuna, I am having fruity mentality, and sahankara, false pride. So I want to get rid of these things. I want to write out these things. Once I give up these things, then my work will be pure work. That will be like a lotus which is in muddy pool of water. It doesn't get touched by it. It's very beautiful lotus. Or like a lotus leaf on which you put some drop of water, it will just glide down. It will not stick on. There is some wax or something on the top of the lotus leaf. If you put a drop of water, it just glides down like a pearl, like that. Like that, the work in this world will not touch us, will not affect us. And you can have a peaceful, sound sleep, and you can enthusiastically get up in the morning, and you can go through the entire day doing your duties, whether you are a student, whether you are a working candidate, whatever you are. You can actually go through the day because you will live in this world in a renounced spirit. And that's what Jai Shetty calls it as, think like a monk, he says, no? This is actually the meaning, how to live like a monk. You don't have to be a monk wearing this dress to be a monk. If you learn the art of thinking like a monk, one of the ways the monks think, I will tell you, is you should live in this world in a renounced spirit. How you should live, I'll tell you an example. Say, for example, if Yash goes to the place of Jacob. So Jacob, I understand, is a very welcoming devotee. Every time he puts a lot of comments, isn't it, Jacob? So Jacob is welcoming Yash. When Yash goes to Jacob's home, he knows that Jacob has many things which don't belong to me. He will stay there for a while. He will talk to him. Maybe Jacob will offer him something to eat, prasad. You will take and Yash will come back. Imagine if Yash goes to Jacob's place and says, Jacob, I renounce your TV. Jacob, I renounce your car. And Jacob, I renounce your umbrella. If he says, what would you do, Jacob? Isn't it? Jacob would laugh. Hey, what are you saying? This TV doesn't belong to you, it belongs to me. This car belongs to me. How can you renounce these things from my home? So, in the same manner, we all have come into this world and somebody says, I'm going to renounce the world. Really? First of all, the world doesn't belong to you, sir. How can you renounce the world which doesn't belong to you? We only have to renounce our false. Yes. We have to only renounce our false sense of proprietorship. Then we can be peaceful. Let's call it a living in a renounced spirit. Jacob is laughing. Yeah. So, I will tell you an example of someone who lived like that. It is Vidura. Vidura is actually an uncle of Duryodhana. Many of you may be knowing some characters of Mahabharata. To make it easy for you, I will explain to you. There was Dhritarashtra, is a blind man who became the king, and his son was Duryodhana, to whom he was attached. But both Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana are vicious people. They are trying to occupy the throne, driving away Duryodhana's cousins to the forest. So this is the background. But Dhritarashtra's younger brother Vidura was always a righteous man. He was a devotee of Lord Krishna. And he wanted to see the cousins of Duryodhana, Pandavas, should rule the world. So the virtuous people were driven to forest. The vicious people wanted to take over. And the father and son were hatching plots to do that. And Vidura did not like it. Vidura mentioned righteously, the virtuous Pandavas are supposed to rule the world, and you guys are trying to usurp their position. This is wrong. So because he spelled out the truth, he was treated very badly by Duryodhana. One day Duryodhana said, throw this man out of this palace. He is eating our food, but he is not loyal to us. Throw him out. Like that, he spoke like that. Although Vidura was a minister of Dhritarashtra, still he was ill-treated by a verbal abuse. So Vidura at that time left the palace and went on a holy pilgrimage to all the holy places in India. He said, I'll go and meet Lord Krishna. I don't want to stay in this palace anymore where I am, I'm not wanted and I'm ill-treated and there is no one to ask Duryodhana's harsh speech. He left. And there Srila Prabhupada writes how Vidura could renounce the palace because he always lived in a renounced spirit. Prabhupada says that. He always lived in a renounced spirit. He never thought this palace is mine. He thought, I am a resident of the palace for some time, and if palace becomes a very vicious palace, I will leave this place and go to holy places, because his heart was in holy activities. His heart was in holy places. His heart was filled with Lord Krishna and his remembrance. And this is how Vidura conquered attachment to the things of the palace. Imagine someone else like Dhritarashtra. He's attached to the palace. He wants to continue living in the palace, continue being the king. He is attached, even making his son the successor also. Here is the example of attached Dhritarashtra and detached Vidura. You can see the difference. So one is an attached worker, one is a detached worker. So in the same manner, all of us can learn how to be detached workers like Vidura and live in a renounced spirit in this world. And how do we do that? Everything belongs to Krishna. In the previous session, I told all of you, 3.9, 10, 11 verses say how the grains, the fruits, the cereals and the spices that we all eat, the eatables are given by Lord Krishna. And the sun, the moon, the wind, the rain shower, all these things are also supplied by him. And also manganese, sulfur, iron, all the industrial products, 120 elements in the Mandel's periodic table, they are all given by him also. So these are things we are taking from Lord Krishna. So therefore, our right understanding is everything belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to the Lord. And I have just come in this world, I am picking up these things. I will gratefully thank him and use them. This is renounced spirit. Nothing belongs to me. And even if I do wonderful things also in this world, And I won't become proud. Why I shouldn't become proud? Because Lord Krishna, He gives me the brain. He gave me the eyes and ears and mouth and nose and the hands and legs. This body was given by Him. The materials are given by Him. Body is given by Him. Brain is given by Him. Why should I be proud? He should be given the glory and credit for giving me these things, because of which I'm able to do these things. So I can become free from pride. I can become free from proprietorship, and I can become free from fruity mentality also. Why? Because I do the work and Krishna will give the result. Like I sow the seed, but Lord Krishna has to give the rains. In this way, because result is not in my hand, I don't have to be fruitive. Leave it to Him. If Lord is pleased with me, He will give. Otherwise, He will not give. This is how we become renounced in our mind. You don't have to physically renounce the things, but we have to mentally renounce the things and live in a renounced spirit. And that is actually the being a perfect yogi. Perfect yogi means he knows that everything belongs to Lord. I am not the proprietor. And the Lord is the controller of the sun and moon, the stars and the sky. He is the controller of the material nature. I am not the supreme controller. This is another aspect of renounced spirit. Yeah. And our Atman is a part and parcel of the great Paramatman. That's true. So in this way, we can live in a renounced spirit. So now when we enter the PowerPoint, it will be very easy for you to appreciate now. Let us proceed with that. Just a minute, I'll show you the... Yeah. She says, Yastvat maradireva syat atmatriptascha manavaha atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. See, a person has no work to do in this world if he is atmarati. Means three words are used here. Atmarati, atmatripta, atmasantushta. These are very nicely explained in the later slides I will show you. One who is Atmarati means one who delights in the super soul and the super soul relationship. Atma-tripta means one who is not hankering for anything in this world. And Atma-tripta means he is satisfied in the activities of the soul. And Atma-santushta means he doesn't hanker after anything of the world. Whatever is provided for him, he is happy. So these are all explained later. Such a person has no work to do. Although he has no work to do, he will work to set an example. Okay. And this is the next verse. Just a minute. Naiva tasya kritenarto na kriteneha kaschana nachasya sarva bhuteshu kaschidartha vyapashrayah. Naiva tasya kritenarto na kriteneha kaschana. Actually, he has no reason to not work and he has no reason to work also. And he is free from all attachments. So now let us go to the vital points which will make these verses very easy for us to understand. Look at the picture here. Here many devotees are rendering different services to Krishna. See, one fellow is cleaning the floor. One girl is performing arati for Lord Krishna. Another girl is cooking something. And some Krishna devotees are eating prasadam. Another devotee is washing pots. But all of them are remembering Krishna. Are you able to see that? In their mind and hearts, they are remembering the Lord. So in this way, in these activities, they are satisfied by the actions of Krishna consciousness. By acting in Krishna consciousness, they are freed from all sins because they are acting for Krishna, and no need to perform any yajna separately to clear the sins. And eternally, they know that eternally we are servant of Krishna, so they are free from sins. And what duties they should perform, that's directed by the Lord. They know how to act everything, all their actions in Krishna consciousness. So they don't have to separately follow the Vedic injunctions. Vedic injunctions say that Pancha Yajna and all you have to do. Pancha Yajna means you have duty to the ancestors, you have duty to the demigods, you have duty to the ordinary men in society, you have duty to the living entities like cows and others, and you have duty to the rishis who gave scripture. So there are many duties given in Vedic injunctions, procedures and all. But when you are directed by Lord Krishna through the Guru Parampara, like what you all are getting knowledge, if you know that and do action, you don't have to do anything extraneous. And they are not interested in any material activities that are independent of Krishna. And he has no reason to not perform the duty. And he doesn't depend on anyone. He depends only on Krishna. And this is how the self-realized person engages in Krishna conscious activities. He is fully satisfied. He has no duties. He says no duties means no other work other than Krishna service. See the title I have given. One of you can read the title, please. Any of you?
Characteristics of self-realized person acting as matter of duty.
Characteristic of self-realized person acting as matter of duty. Yeah, correct. So, see here, read the yellow one, please. Yeah, my prescribed duty.
Yes, my prescribed duties are meant to bring material reward, but I do not have any material desire in this life, nor do I desire Swargaloka. I know I am not this body. So why should I need to perform my prescribed duty?
Somebody may ask like that. Okay, your prescribed duties are meant to bring material rewards. I don't want to do prescribed duties because I have no material desire, neither in this world nor in Swargaloka, because I know I am the soul. My duties are only to Krishna, so I don't have to do any duty, somebody may say. So why do I need to perform prescribed duty? And the answer is given in 3.17 to 3.32. Yeah, Krishna explains why one who is freed from material desires should nevertheless perform his duties. So that is going to explain now. Here you see here, Shastra and Guru, it assigns one duty according to his material attachments. For example, why are people doing activities in this world? Because they want to fulfill their desires in a regulated way to purify. Shastras gave. I already told you about this. Sanctioned, sanctified, regulated activities. So that gradually we get purified. The only person free from duties is the self-realized man, because he has no desire to fulfill and nor any purification to achieve. Very important point. See, I told you in many classes before that if you have desire to fulfill and without considering any factors, you directly jump to fulfill the desire, then you'll get reaction because of fulfilling the desire. But if you go through the 3-point formula, sanctioned, sanctified, regulated, then you will not get entangled, you will gradually get purified. For example, you want to eat, you should eat vegetarian food, which is sanctioned. You should eat prasadam, which is sanctified. You should eat regulated food, which means moderate prasadam, moderate quantity of prasad. Correct? Similarly, a boy feels a great attraction for a girl, he wants to enjoy with her. What you should do? You should, is it sanctioned? No, it's not sanctioned for me. Then what you should do? The girl's father and say that, sir, I am ready to take responsibility for your daughter. I want to marry her if you sanction it for me. And her father says, sanction now. Okay, get married to my daughter. I have no problem. So he gets married. It is sanctioned. Without getting sanction from the father, who is the girl's guardian, he just goes with her for roaming and just enjoying life. Then he gets sin because he's enjoying something which is not his property. Then he gets sin. Therefore, it should be sanctioned. Then when it is sanctified, when the husband and wife, they both go to the temple of Krishna, they study Bhagavad Gita, like all of you are leading your life. You are actually sanctifying your life. Correct? That is the second one. And third one is regulated, means they are not leading life lavishly, forgetting God. They are leading life, they are saving the wealth, they are not squandering the wealth, they are using the wealth in Krishna service. In this way, they are regulated. So this already I told you. If you have desires, you can go through this 3-point formula. Let us assume that a person has no material desires only. A person says, I'm only Krishna devotee, I just want to only serve Krishna. Whatever will please Krishna, only that I will do. I have no desires. That's the point here he is making. Yes, I'll just show you again. See, he has no desires to fulfill, and therefore he has no purification to achieve. That means there is no material desires. Then what is the need for any purification? Then that person may say, I don't have to do any work. I am just waiting when the body will drop to the ground, then I will go back to Godhead. So let me just go to Vrindavan and just keep quiet, not do any work, just waiting for the body to drop. Is it all right? What do you think? Jacob, what do you think about this? Adeogun, what do you think about this? What I told just now.
Peace and love. I think that, you want to work so that you can pretty much fulfill what you're seeking in this life. It's like you want your heart.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, in this world, even if you want to have food, clothing, shelter, you have to do some work. Correct, no? And that Lord Krishna says that. Because in this world, even a lion cannot get its prey if it doesn't do the work. Imagine if a lion is sitting in one place with an open mouth. Do you think some deer is going to go into his mouth? Will a deer go automatically? Deers will run away. Huh? So everybody in this world has to do some work to get their daily bread, to have a place to live, and to wear some clothes. Everybody has to work. If you're idling, even survival is difficult. So therefore, yes, we have to work. That's one of the reasons we have to work. So if even if we have become realized, Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyed akarmanah. Krishna says this. For keeping the body and soul together, we have to do some work. Everybody has to do some work, he says. That's one reason why people work. But if somebody says, my parents are stinking rich, they have already given me enough money, adequate amount of wealth and the house, free house, and I have everything. I don't have to work to earn these things. I am not poor, if somebody says. Then can one stop working completely? What do you think, Ade Ogana, about it?
I think you should work for your own. I mean, even if your parents have all these things, I think you should want your own, and you should want to provide your own shelter. You should want to provide for your family, So I think these are things that it also keeps you healthy, just moving and doing that are for you and being about work.
Okay. And what do you say, Jacob, about? Jacob says that not unless they are already fulfilled and realized, otherwise you have to get rid of your desires. Definitely not. Affluence and that attitude usually goes horribly. Okay, very good. Anyone else wants to comment on this? Anyone else? After that, I will say what Gita says. I will tell you. Any of you here would like to? Anybody else? Ligan, you want to say something? Yash, Ligan, anybody?
Long as it's sanctioned, sanctified, and regulated by God.
Yes. That's perfect. And that is for fulfilling desires. What if somebody says, I don't have any desires in this world. I only have spiritual desire to go back to Godhead and serve the Lord. So should he be idle, or what he should do? So what? Yeah.
So I have an answer about this. I don't know if it's right or not. So the one who already realized the God, he can go to the secular place and do the bhakti or meditation. But who has not realized the God and it's wants to get mukti, okay, then that person has to, and he has a desire, he's living in the world, then he has to live the life as a sanctioned, sanctified, and regulated. He has to work.
Perfect. Your understanding is correct, Jit.
Yes.
That's correct. So, because people have desires, they can go through this 3-point program. What you said is correct. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, even a person who has become free from all the material desires, even he also should work. Why he should work? To set an example for others. He says, and what is the difference? There are 2 types of workers. One is an attached worker, one is a detached worker. Attached worker does the work with attachment and he suffers. And detached worker, his heart is already clean, he is purified, he has no more material desires, but still he performs a role as a housewife or as a king of a country. One may be doing the work to set an example for others, because in that situation one can get opportunity to preach to the colleagues, peace to the relatives. One can show you a beautiful example, like Yudhishthira Maharaj was king amongst the five Pandavas. He was the leader, senior most person. So, although he was very detached, he married Draupadi and he ruled the world as a king of the world, but without any attachment, he lived. He didn't exploit anybody. He was not delighting in the material enjoyment of the world. His delight was only pure devotion to Lord. But he was setting an example for others. Even myself, for example, I am a monk. Even we are not going to forest to live alone. Srila Prabhupada says, even as a monk, you should live in the heart of the city. And you should go to the schools, colleges, companies, go to crowded places and you distribute spiritual literature. So people can pick up those books and get benefited. Go to crowded places and distribute Krishna's prasadam. Go to crowded places and distribute the holy name by singing Harinam Sankirtan. So even monks, we are not keeping idle. We get up at 3 in the morning and we sleep at 9 at night. So almost like 18 hours a day we work, which means even we work more than those going to IT company also. IT fellows, we say that they work 16 hours and then we work 18 hours also. We have no other business. 6 hours only we sleep, that's all. So we have to work. Even as a monk, we have to work. What to speak of anyone else? So, nahi kachchik kshanamapi jata tishtatya karma krit karyate ki avashak karma sarva prakriti jayaguna. Krishna says, no living being can keep idle anytime. They have a propensity to work. The soul by nature is very dynamic. The soul by nature is very active. So we can be active in a positive, spiritual, Krishna conscious direction. Like I showed you the picture. You can cook for the Lord. You can decorate the Lord. You can pray to Him. You can do worship of Him. You can do service for Him in the temple or outside the temple. Varieties of devotional services. Like right now I am giving lecture. You all are hearing lecture. Both are devotional activity. Reading Prabhupada's books, devotional activity. In this way, we all can keep our day busy from morning to night doing certain activity which are in line with the Lord. Some activities are directly connected to Lord. Some activities may be indirect. For example, right now I'm speaking from Gita. It's a direct activity. You are hearing, it's a direct activity. Some indirect activity can be like you are working in a factory. How can that be connected to Lord Krishna? Anybody can say? Any of you? You are working in an industry. How can you make that activity Krishna conscious? Anybody has a suggestion?
I have one suggestion. So something, like let's say some focus thing I have to do, like study or something like that.
Yeah.
So I remember the Krishna before starting any work. Or sometimes, or sometimes if I'm like, doing some minimal task or normal task, I remember the Krishna and do the work.
Okay. So now I gave an example. You are working in a factory. How can that work you do in the factory can be connected to Krishna? How can it be connected? Right. Jacob Anderson captured the point. He has put in chat, you all can see that. Give the fruits to the Lord, could donate or spread the word at work. Beautiful. 2 suggestions he has given, Jacob. One point is saying that, say you are earning some $5,000. So you can take out some $100, $100-$200 and, donate to the local ISKCON temple and then ask them to cook some prasadam and distribute to the people. That way, your money is going for rendering service to the Lord and the devotees. Or you can also spread the word at work, he is saying, which means you can go and tell your colleagues, I am attending a program, be a perfect yogi. If you wish, you can join too. Or you can distribute one Prabhupada's book to them. If you have a copy of Bhagavad Gita, you can give them to read or bring them to the temple. So these kind of things we can do. That way your work in the factory becomes spiritually meaningful also. In this way, like Arjuna is a warrior and he is conducting a war for Krishna. Krishna wants him to destroy the vicious and establish the virtuous. He wants to establish the virtue and destroy all the vicious group of people. So he wants to establish dharma and he's doing that. So in this way, he is sanctifying his work completely. So that is the purpose of this chapter. This chapter says, Krishna says that you do your duty, but in a detached spirit. Now I'll show you. Now you will appreciate the slides very much. You'll see that. See, the only person free from duality is a self-realized man who has no desires to fulfill, not he needs any purification because mental desires are really not there. So he doesn't need any purification. Look at this yogi. He's a devotee. He is thinking of Lord Vishnu in the heart, he is residing near a temple, completely absorbed in the Lord. Not everybody can be like this. Huh? So, now how a Krishna conscious person, just 1 minute, is free from all other obligations and prescribed duties, save and accept his activities in Krishna consciousness. That means if you are a devotee, all your activities can become Krishna conscious and you're free from other obligations. How? Please read one by one. First one.
How a Krishna conscious person is free from all other obligation and prescribed duties, save and accept his activities in Krishna consciousness. It is all due to the following reason. Krishna consciousness purifies. Due to Krishna consciousness, all impurity within is instantly cleansed. Impurity within is instantly cleaned. Fixed in identity, by clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal relationship with the Supreme. Jivara Swarupa Haya Nityera Krishna Das. Self-illuminated.
I am servant of Krishna. That's the meaning of that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Self-illuminated, then one becomes self-illuminated by the grace of God. Nana Dipena Bhaswata Dadami Buddhi Yogam.
Krishna says, I let up my devotee with knowledge and I give them the intelligence to come back to me. So one becomes self-illuminated with wisdom. So third one is wisdom. Second one is my identity as servant of Lord. First one is purification of all the sinful reactions. All these things happen. And fourth one, loses
all material interests, such as a person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material element like wine, woman, and similar infatuation. Natesu Ramat Buddha. Free from all obligations, Krishna consciousness, man does not take shelter of any person, man, or demigod, thus free from all obligation. Na kinkaro
nayam rini rajan. In this world, we have debt to parents, debt to the demigods, debt to rishis, debt to the animals which are serving us like cows and others. We have debt to so many people. But when you become Krishna devotee, it's like, pouring water in the root of the tree. What happens when you pour water in the root of the tree? Do you have to pour water separately in each leaf and each branch? Is it necessary? Huh? You are pouring, which is better? Go to every leaf and put water in a tree or put it in the root of the tree? Yeah? Any of you? The root, isn't it? Roots. Why we put water in the root? What happens when you, Ligan, what happens when you put water in the root?
Goes up.
Yeah, it goes up, that's true. It goes up and then it nourishes the whole tree. So what do you infer from this example, Ligan? If you put water in the root of the tree, it goes to the entire tree, it nourishes. Similarly, what? How do you think this analogy can be applied in our context? Can you guess? Any of you? Anybody? It's a simple example. Huh? If you water the root of the tree, yes, is Dharatri Mataji going to speak? Yeah? Yeah? By doing these things, it nourishes the soul, he's saying. No. Okay, I'll tell you what the example is. Yeah, you want to try? See, I'll give you a clue. What is the root of the entire creation? We are seeing so many things in this creation. What is the root of the entire creation? Root means from which everything has come. Yes?
I would say the consciousness within us all, Krishna.
Krishna, correct. Jacob also said, Adi Ogun also said, both of them. Krishna is the source of everything. Yeah, correct. So that means if you please Krishna, then all the living beings are pleased. If you water the root of the tree, the branches, the leaves, the twigs, flowers, fruits, everything is nourished. Therefore, the devotee of the Lord offers everything to Krishna. That's the reason. Like here it says, you see, free from all obligations. That means if you become a devotee of Krishna, then all the secondary obligations to everybody else is finished because Krishna takes care of all of it. You don't have to worry at all. Like you see, when I became a monk, I have 3 sisters. My youngest sister told me, brother, since you have become a monk now, you do not worry about the parents. Taking care of the parents till their last breath is my responsibility. I was amazed. She's the youngest child at home. She's the youngest girl at home, my youngest sister. She told me, you travel across the globe everywhere you want. I will take care of the parents. And then she's like, although the youngest sister in our home, she's like a leader. She got the other 2 sisters, talked to them, and they all came to Pune, where I live. And they took a house next to the temple. And all 3 sisters lived in the same place, along with my mother and father. My mother and father actually were 84 and 80 years of age. And they both left the body in 2017. And they were surrounded by these 3 sisters' families. And I also could meet my parents. So they took such utmost care. So then I was thinking in my mind, I am trying to surrender to Krishna. And Krishna has taken care of my obligation to my parents. You see? Because Krishna in her heart inspired her to say like that, brother, don't worry, I will take care. That means similarly now I was doing a job in a company before. When I was a mechanical engineer. Now I joined ISKCON now. Many people ask me, hey, you don't have a bank balance and how will you take care? So last 30 years I am serving as a monk in ISKCON. Not a single day passed without food. Without food or taking a residence or something, everything is arranged by him. You don't have to worry. So if you take care of Krishna consciousness, everything else will be arranged by him. You don't have to worry at all. How it will be arranged, he only knows because he is the Supreme Lord. He knows how to adjust the whole material energy in such a way that you will be taken care. You don't have to worry at all. He says. So in the same manner, here you find here that Krishna consciousness does not take shelter of any other person. We don't go to any demigod asking for any. We don't go to any politician. We don't have to go for anybody. Ultimately, we are whatever we need, Krishna will take care. And here is a picture of one great soul called Janaka Maharaj. He was the father of Sita who married Rama. You see the picture in the background. But Rama is also Krishna's another form, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And his consort is Sita here standing opposite to him, garlanding him. And her father is Janak Maharaj, whom you see here. He is considered the greatest perfect yogi. We are calling this course as Be a Perfect Yogi. He is the perfect yogi, role model for all of us. He was completely in the renounced spirit. Next class, when you all come, I'll tell you some stories about him, about how renounced he was. He was completely detached from the fruits, and he only worked as a matter of duty and the proper guidance, and he did all his service for the pleasure of Supreme Lord Krishna. In this way, Janak Maharaj, and also Lord Krishna as a householder, he also set an example. So now time is up for today. Any questions from any of you? Was the subject clear to everybody today? Would anybody like to summarize what I spoke today in your own words, maybe in 2-3 sentences? Anybody would like to give a try? Yeah?
Detachment.
Okay, detachment. Okay, then that's all. Is it only about detachment, Ligan, or anything else?
Performing duties with the detachment.
Yeah, Sandeep. Yeah.
Performing duties with the detachment.
Performing our duties with detachment. And can you say, Sandeep, how that detachment arises in us?
So by offering the fruits to the God.
Oh, correct. By offering our fruits to Lord, correct. Yeah,
by
another
realizing
one?
that nothing, by realizing that nothing we can own and this material world.
We don't own
Everything
anything.
should be done.
Everything belongs to Krishna. Nothing is owned by me. Everything is owned by him. And also the brain I have, the senses I have, the ingredients in this world I use, everything belongs to him. Correct. Very good. Sandeep, you said many nice things. Thank you. Jacob says that we should work with detachment and by devotion to Krishna, we water all secondary duties. Perfect. Jacob, you really gave us a powerful synopsis of the whole class. You said that we should work with detachment and by devotion to Krishna, we water all the secondary duties. Wonderful. Anything else? Any of you? Yes, you want to say some summary? Or Upen, or Surendra, or Ade Ogun, or Dharati Mataji, anybody else? Sureka Mataji, anybody else?
Yeah, I think I got the clear explanation, a clear explanation on how the soul works after the body, even for the even for someone who is like in that elevated state, right, at the time of death.
Correct. Yeah. And that spiritual world which I told you, Yash, that is the ultimate place from where we never return to this world once we go there. That's our eternal home. By mistake, we are here now. But once you purify the heart of all the material desires and you fill up your heart with spiritual desires, you go back to the spiritual home, you never to come back to this world. Yeah. Anybody else want to give some synopsis, 1 or 2 minutes? 1 or 2 sentences? Yeah. Yeah, yes, go ahead. Adyogan, yeah.
Peace and love. So what I got from the class today was purify your spirit, do work with devotion to Lord Krishna, like just and through your work bring other people to know Lord Krishna and know like just peace of mind and peace of heart.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Many nice things you said. Thank you, Adil. Thank you. Yeah, anyone else? Just 1 or 2 sentences like this. Anything striking? Any example you liked? In the beginning of the class, I was telling you how the common people, when they work, they get entangled. Anybody remembers that? How they get entangled and how we can avoid getting entangled.
You give the example of anger and then the pride. Desires that anger comes and also the pride also.
Correct. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So the attachment and the pride and the hard work, those are all connected to entangled people in this world. But by connecting with this Krishna consciousness, you can rise above these things. You can avoid the pride by knowing Krishna is the owner. You can avoid the anger by knowing Krishna is the controller. You can avoid the hard work by knowing that I will work moderately and I will spend some time with Krishna also in Krishna consciousness, because this world is a foreign place for me. I will live in a renounced spirit. One day I have to quit this world. So why slog hard to accumulate things only in this world? Let me do something for Krishna consciousness. Good? We can think like that. So we can rise above these 3 things. So thank you all very much. We will meet next week and we will continue. Now you got the Krishna book in this thing. You all can save and keep it. You can click to download it. Yeah. And you can save and keep it. Yeah. Yeah. So he has given us Krishna book PDF in PDF format. He has given. It's very nice. You can save and keep it with you so that You can read it. Yash, especially for Yash, I told he can read it, but others can also read it. And I also gave you one more homework. Anybody remembers one homework I gave you today? In this month, Purushottam month, I told you.
You asked to read chapter 15?
Exactly. Correct. So, BG chapter 15 to be read before you come next week to our class.
Okay, with
I
only
put
20
in the chat
slokas.
also.
So it's also a small chapter.
20 slokas. Yeah.
Right.
It's a
We can
short
do like
chapter, but very famous
three a
chapter.
day and
This
it will
month
be
is very
done.
auspicious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3
yes.
slokas a day and we can be done by the next classes.